Welcome to the SFPUC's virtual webinar about our proposed 2023 rates. We are so excited to have you here today. My name is Betsy Rhodes. I'm a communications manager with the SFPUC. Let's talk very quickly about how things will go today. I'm about ready to introduce our speakers, but before we do, I would like to tell you that we will try to answer your questions today. If you have questions for us, please type them into the Q&A on the screen, on the bottom of your screen, and we will take them on screen after the presentation is over. If you are having issues or technical issues, please reach out to us in the moderator chat. And again, thank you so much for being here today. Enough of me. I'm very happy to introduce you to our SFPUC Communications Director, John Cote. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Betsy, and good afternoon, everyone. We really appreciate you taking time to join us today to learn about our proposed rate package. So today's town hall is really to provide you with information about our proposed water and sewer rates, how they were developed, what's driving the need for a rate increase, and some of the programs we offer to help you lower your bills. We also want to hear from you about any questions you may have. I'm going to be joined this afternoon by Matthew Freiberg. He's a principal analyst on the finance team here at the SFPUC, and he's also our rates project manager. We're going to talk about how your ratepayer dollars fund critical improvements to our aging water and wastewater systems. We've been making upgrades on these systems for years, but more work is needed to prevent breaks, improve seismic safety, and adapt to droughts and storms as the climate changes. As many of you know, the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission is a department of the City and County of San Francisco. It comprises three essential services: water, power, and sewer. These services operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, our regional water system delivers high quality drinking water to 2.7 million residents in the Bay Area. For the last 100 years, we've been generating electricity that is used to power San Francisco's airport, schools, libraries, Maine Trauma Hospital, the Muni transit system, and a number of other things. Additionally, we provide sewer services to the City and County of San Francisco. And our sewers and our wastewater treatment plants are the front line protecting public health and the health of San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean. Next slide, please. So I'm going to just quickly go over, give you an overview of our water and sewer systems and some of the key investments that we've been making. Next slide, please. So we operate the Hetch Hetchy regional water system. It provides high quality drinking water to 2.7 million people in 4 Bay Area counties. The last fiscal year, our system delivered about 182 million gallons of water per day on average to San Francisco and our 27 wholesale customers. These wholesale partners also share the cost of system maintenance. They pay 2/3 and we pay 1/3 of those costs. So the system and the really high quality water it provides is one of the fundamental underpinnings of not just the economy of the Bay Area, but also the vitality of our region. There are a few things that are unique about our system. One is that the majority of our water, about 85%, comes from snowmelt that is stored in a natural granite basin and is so clean, there's no need for filtration. Filtration is energy and chemical intensive, and it can also be costly. The water is delivered via gravity to the Bay Area, so no fossil fuels or pumps needed there. As the water flows to San Francisco, it generates clean, renewable energy that powers not only San Francisco's municipal services, but also things like public and affordable housing sites and some new residential and commercial developments. The system really is the gold standard when it comes to a sustainable municipal water system in the country. It's been called an engineering marvel, and that's absolutely the case. However, it is also vulnerable. As you can see from the map here, most of the water we provide you must travel almost the width of the state of California to get here. It also crosses over 3 major earthquake faults in the Bay Area. Those are the vertical red lines that you see there. And sometimes our system crosses those faults more than once. We know the big one is coming, and we need to make sure that our pipes are ready. Next slide, please. Now, paid by your monthly bills, our services are always on. We've continued to deliver safe, reliable water through droughts, earthquakes, and the recent pandemic. Dependable, high-quality water is going to come out of your tap 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our systems and staff conduct around-the-clock water quality monitoring. We also conduct regular inspections and preventative maintenance. And we have crews on the ground to carry out planned and emergency repairs across the city. Next slide, please. So your investments have already made great progress. The multi-billion-dollar water system improvement program, which is to repair, replace, and seismically upgrade the most vulnerable portions of our water system, that is almost complete. So after more than 10 years and 87 different projects spanning 7 counties in California, the water system improvement program is more than 99% complete. Now, the promise of this program is that within 24 hours of a major earthquake, we can deliver water to our customers. The program fortified major pipelines where they cross those earthquake faults we saw in the previous slide. It upgraded water treatment plants and reservoirs, also drilled 3 new water tunnels, and we rebuilt an entire dam in Calaveras. This program has really become the model infrastructure program that utilities across the country are now emulating. So part of your rates pay for these critical investments, and we thank you for that. However, I have to note we do have a huge system, and our work in upgrading and maintaining it is not done. We continue to make upgrades and fixes to our system to ensure it continues to function and really is going to function for generations to come. In the city alone, we maintain about 1,000 miles of water transmission lines. Now, we strive to replace 15 miles of those aging water pipelines each year. Next slide, please. So we must continue to invest in our water system so that is resilient to droughts, earthquakes, and climate change. In addition, new state regulations might reduce the amount of water that we can serve from Hetch Hetchy in the future. So therefore, we've been working hard to diversify the water supply by adding a mix of new supplies to our regional system. Conservation is also a very important part of protecting our water. And our residents in San Francisco have some of the lowest water usage in the state. And for that, we also thank you. However, conservation on its own it is not enough. Next slide, please. Now, with the major improvements needed to the water system, either complete or nearing completion, much of our attention is now turning to our sewer system. So San Francisco is the only coastal city in California with a combined sewer system. And that means it collects and treats both wastewater and stormwater. So our sewer system is the first line of defense for protecting public health and the health of the bay and the ocean. The majority of cities in California discharge polluted stormwater untreated into water bodies. We do not do that. We are proud of our system because it treats not just sewage, but also stormwater. Our 3 wastewater treatment plants, which you see on the map here, they're indicated by the red arrows. So they treat an average of 70 million gallons per day. Now, during major storms, our system can treat up to 575 million gallons per day. So to put that into some context, in a major storm, that's like treating enough wastewater to fill 871 Olympic-sized swimming pools. In addition, we own and operate about 1,900 miles of sewer mains and laterals that are right under the streets of San Francisco. Now, end to end, those pipelines would stretch from here to Colorado and back. And over 300 miles of these pipes are more than 100 years old. Now, while we're proud of our system and we have been consistently upgrading it piece by piece, more upgrades are needed. Next slide, please. So here you can see some of that need. So improvements are needed for both our sewers and for our treatment plants. As I mentioned, we know the next earthquake is really a matter of when. It's not if. So upgrading our aging water and sewer systems isn't just an investment in our city's infrastructure, it's an investment in public health. As we do with our water system, we replace roughly 15 miles per year of our aging sewer pipes, but really we are in a race against time to upgrade our old sewers. We're also witnessing more and more intense storms due to climate change. I imagine everyone remembers earlier this year, we had a severe bomb cyclone that dropped over 5.5 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. So system upgrades that we're investing in will help reduce flood risk from these more intense storms. Next slide, please. So here you'll just see some examples of, just a few examples of the investments that we're making. You see the upper left corner there, the Southeast Treatment Plant. So that was built in 1952. And much of the Southeast Treatment Plant represents 1940s technology. Facilities there are operating well beyond their useful lives. One other example, we're constructing green infrastructure, and this is to manage stormwater before it enters our combined sewer system to help give our sewer system a break during heavy rains. Next slide, please. Now, I think this slide really kind of sums up why we need to raise rates. So, 100-year-old buildings are beautiful. 100-year-old water and sewer pipes, not as much. So many parts of our sewer system are 100 years old. Many parts of our water system are 100 years old. And the oldest parts of our sewer system date back to the gold rush. So we've made a lot of upgrades to these systems, particularly in the last decade or so. But more upgrades are needed to prevent breaks, improve seismic safety, and adapt to storms and droughts as the climate changes. So let's make these investments to continue to protect public health. Now, I will be transitioning it over to my colleague, Matthew, shortly to go into more specifics and details about the rates. But before we do, we're going to take a quick little quiz. So you'll see a poll pop up on your screen, and this quiz is going to test your historical knowledge. So as you see in this photo here, it shows the construction of the sewer on Vicente Street near 38th Avenue and Parkside. So the year this photo was taken, William Howard Taft became president. New Mexico, Arizona, Alaska, and Hawaii were not even states yet. So what year do you think this was? We'll give you a few moments to ponder your answer, and keep in mind, there's no penalties for guessing. So, but even if you're not positive of the answer, it doesn't hurt to guess. So why don't you give it a shot? We'll give folks a few minutes to complete that, and then we'll of course tell you the answer. Okay, why don't we stop the poll and see how folks did. All right, excellent. More than half got it correct. So the answer was 1909. And as you can see, the area was all sand dunes. So great job, everyone. We had over 57% who got it right. And I also just wanted to quickly, next slide, please. And I also just kind of wanted to quickly note that for anybody who may be joining us a little late, we are offering simultaneous interpretation during the course of this town hall. You'll see the instructions on the screen right now. So for anyone who's just joining us, those are the instructions there for interpretation in Spanish, Chinese, or Filipino. So we'll pause just a moment to see if we have anyone who would like to take advantage of that. And then we'll continue on with our presentation. Okay, next slide, please. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Matthew Freiberg, our project manager on rates with our finance team.
Yeah, thanks, John. Hello, my name is Matthew Freiberg, and I'm the principal rates analyst with SFPUC's financial planning team. And first, I'd like to thank you all for giving us your time to talk about the investments SFPUC is making in the future of our water and wastewater systems and the changes that are coming from our latest rate study. Next slide, please. So the recommendations that have come out of this study are designed to ensure the sustainability of the water and wastewater systems, while also meeting all of the requirements of state law and the City of San Francisco's charter. On this slide, we want to highlight a few key guideposts for implementing a rate study like this. First, as a publicly owned utility, we operate similar to a not-for-profit organization, and we're prohibited from generating any revenues that go beyond the cost for providing services to our customers. This means that the rates that we set will only go to fund the operating costs and investments in infrastructure. Nothing else. There's no profit layered on top. The San Francisco charter, which is like the constitution of the city, requires that we hire an independent rate consultant at least every 5 years to analyze finances and recommend new rates. Our last rate study was completed in 2018, so now we're due for a new one. We hired our consultant in spring of 2022, and we've been hard at work over the last year doing the financial analysis needed to support our rates. And along the way, SFPUC staff and our consultant had regular meetings with the Rate Fairness Board. For those of you who are not familiar with the Rate Fairness Board, this is an oversight body that holds public meetings that allow us to dig into the details of the rate study. By meeting with the Rate Fairness Board, this ensures that the study is done in an open and public way, providing transparency and an opportunity for members of the public to come and learn about the details of the analysis in near real time. We still have more Rate Fairness Board meetings coming up, so if any of you would like to attend, you're more than welcome to join. Next slide, please. This slide here shows the way our existing rates are structured. For both water and wastewater, your bill includes a fixed monthly service charge, which is always going to be the same no matter how much water you use. There's also a usage charge, which will vary depending on how much water or wastewater you discharge to the system. On the water side, the usage charges are calculated based on your metered water use. Residential customers have 2 tiers, and every month, a customer will have a certain amount of water in the first tier that is billed at a lower rate. If you go over that amount, then you pay a higher rate for all tier 2 water. The tier 2 rates are designed to reflect the cost that it costs more to serve higher water users. It also serves as an incentive to help customers conserve water. Commercial water rates, on the other hand, do not have tiers. It's just one flat rate, no matter how much water you use. On the sewer side, we estimate how much wastewater you put down the drain based on a percentage of your metered water usage. Now, for residential customers, there's only one rate that we apply to this estimated wastewater discharge. For commercial customers, there are different rates, and this is based on the type of customer you are. This is because not all customers put the same stuff down the drain, and dirtier sewage costs more to treat. For example, a restaurant or an industrial facility typically have dirtier sewage than, say, an office building, and therefore are charged higher rates for the wastewater that we have to treat. In this rate study, we're recommending a change to the wastewater rate structure, which we're going to talk about more in the later slides, but the water rates are going to stay, the water rate structure at least is going to stay the same. Next slide, please. Now, our team recognizes that times are tough for many San Franciscans, and we'd like to highlight the efforts that we've taken here at SFPUC to reduce the burden of rates on our customers. First, in response to the economic hardships faced by the COVID-19 pandemic, we held all rates level for the current fiscal year. However, this is not something that's sustainable for the utility, and we can only do it that one time. Second, we have undertaken an agency-wide effort to reduce the cash needed to invest in infrastructure. This includes a strategic reprioritization of capital projects, which resulted in a $1 billion reduction in planned expenditures over the next decade. At the same time, our debt management team has been highly successful in obtaining low-interest loans. This has resulted in a $1.4 billion savings in interest payments that we would have had to make if we just used regular revenue bonds to fund our projects. And we're not stopping there. We are also pursuing additional low-cost loans as we need to invest in further capital. Next slide, please. So with that said, I want to jump into what most of you are probably here for today, and that's what's changing with your rates. The proposed changes fall into two main buckets. First, the rates for both water and sewer are going to be going up. This is needed to cover increased operating costs, our existing debt service, and to pay for upcoming capital projects. Most customers are going to experience somewhere between a 6 and 9% increase in their bills each year, but this impact may be more or less for some customers depending on how you use the water and sewer systems. Second, the sewer bill is being split into two different components. We will now have a wastewater component and a stormwater component. This is a meaningful change in how we will collect our revenues, and SFPUC has been preparing for this since 2014. This split has been a recommendation from our consultants due to the fact that we have a combined sewer system that treats both wastewater and stormwater. And the next few slides provide more information on the stormwater charge and its basis. Next slide, please. So about 20% of the wastewater enterprise's costs go to managing stormwater. But the contribution of stormwater to our system is not the same for all parcels in the city. This new rate structure is designed to ensure that customer bills are not based solely on how much wastewater they produce from toilets, sinks, and showers, but the total flows that SFPUC has to treat from these properties. And this will now include stormwater. The sewer portion of the bill, which is what you have right now, will maintain the existing rate structure that's based on the estimated volume of sewage discharged into our system. And the stormwater portion of the bill will be based on the characteristics of an account holder's property. So now those properties that produce higher runoff will have higher bills, and those who produce less runoff will have lower bills. This way, each customer will pay their fair share for the combined sewer system. And while this is a new change that will show up on your bill, this new rate structure will not change the total amount of revenue that's collected by SFPUC. The added stormwater charge will be offset by reductions in the revenue that we'll be collecting through the wastewater charge. So most residents will see very little change to their bill as a result of the change in rate structure. but properties with larger surface area will now pay their fair share for the collection and treatment of stormwater. Now, we also recognize that this may be a substantial adjustment for some customers, and the change in stormwater charge will be gradually phased in over a 7-year period. The goal here is to allow our heavily impacted customers to gradually account for this change in their budgeting, and will also provide time for customers to implement projects that will reduce their stormwater bill. Now, to reduce your stormwater runoff charge, SFPUC, in addition to the new rate structure, will also be launching a credit program for customers. This will allow customers to reduce the stormwater flows through the use of green infrastructure, and we'll also be offering a grant program to reduce the burden of installing these projects. And we'll have a few more slides later on that talk more about the credit and grant program. Next slide, please. This slide is designed to help illustrate the basis of the stormwater charge. As I mentioned earlier, the current rate structure combines the cost of collecting and treating sewage that comes out of buildings, as well as the stormwater runoff from each property. However, your bill is sized only based on the amount of wastewater that your property discharges. So this slide here shows two different property types. On the left, we have a high-rise apartment building that has multiple households and produces a substantial amount of wastewater. And this is signified by those little green toilet icons. And then to the right, we have a big box store that may only have one restroom that's used by employees, but this contributes a substantial amount of stormwater runoff from its large roof area and parking lot. Under the current rates, this high-rise apartment has a substantially higher bill than the big box store relative to the total flows that each property contributes to our combined system. Now, by adjusting our rate structure, we're correcting that billing inequity. And now each property will pay their fair share based on the total flows of their property that their property produces instead of just the wastewater. Next slide, please. This slide here shows the way that the new stormwater charge will work. Customers are going to fall into one of two different categories. On the right, we have a simplified residential charge. This will be applicable to residential properties that are under 6,000 square feet in parcel area with 6 or fewer dwelling units, and they'll pay a flat monthly charge in one of 3 tiers based on the size of their assessor parcel. These rates are based on the average parcel characteristics for all properties within each of these tier bands. So it takes into account the permeable and impermeable area that a typical property within each tier will be using. So that's why you see the graduated increase in rates as you move from tier 1 to tier 3. All other customers, being large residential buildings, non-residential parcels, mixed-use properties, etc., they'll instead be paying based on the measured permeable and impermeable area of their individual property. So impermeable areas like roofs, pavement, driveways, they don't let water soak in, and they result in more stormwater runoff. So we'll have a higher rate per 1,000 square feet of impermeable area. Then with permeable areas, such as lawns and gardens, most of these will absorb runoff or will absorb rainfall in rain events. However, these can become saturated in heavy rain events, like the ones we saw back in December and January. In those storms, they can cause runoff. They can result in runoff too. So to account for this, we have a lower runoff charge for these areas. In the next month, SFPUCs will also be launching an online GIS map where customers can look up their individual property and see what the assessed areas will be, assuming that you don't know already. Next slide, please. So I want to take a moment to talk about their stormwater credits. Similar to the way we offer lower water and wastewater bills for conservation of water, our stormwater credit program will enable customers to lower their sewer bill by installing green infrastructure projects, such as rain gardens, green roofs, cisterns, and permeable pavement, just to name a few of the various infrastructure types. For those of you unfamiliar with green infrastructure, the way this works is these different these different installments can collect stormwater runoff from impervious drainage areas and detain it on site by letting it sink into the ground or storing it into a container. The picture on this slide provides an example from a local middle school. Those large blue boxes outline the roof and pavement areas that drain to rain gardens when it rains. In this particular property, they're managing 60% of the runoff that would have flowed into our combined sewer system. And in turn, this property is receiving a 60% credit on their stormwater bill. The properties that will automatically receive a credit are those new and redeveloped projects that are in compliance with our stormwater management ordinance. Any projects that have been funded through the Green Infrastructure Grant Program will also automatically receive a standard credit. Anybody else who has implemented green infrastructure projects on their properties but have not gone through one of those two mentioned processes are also eligible for a credit and just need to apply for one on our website. Additionally, we'll be slowly rolling out a credit program for residential customers as demand builds. So if you are a residential property owner that has implemented green infrastructure projects, please let us know. And we have a team that is dedicated to implementing these credits on day one of this new rate structure. Next slide, please. So what does this mean for our customers? Measuring bill impacts can be really difficult because we have so many different types of customers that all use our system in different ways. It's hard to say exactly how much rates are going to be going up for everybody. What this slide is trying to do is capture the projected bill impact for our most common customers, which happen to be our single-family residential customers. And this slide is showing the bill impact for a household that uses about 4.8 units of water per month. That's the typical water usage for average single-family customer. Just to help you orient you to this chart, the light blue bars represent the water portion of this customer's bill. The light green bars represent the wastewater portion, and the dark green represents the stormwater portion of the bill. You can see on the current year column, it's crosshatched, and that's to reflect the blended nature of our current rates. It's also worth noting that the current rate bar also includes the drought surcharges that we currently have in place, but staff is recommending that these be discontinued sometime in the spring. The resulting bill impact for the proposed rate increase, along with the change in rate structure, results in about a $7 per month increase in bills for fiscal year 24. So that's starting July 1, 2023. The following year will result in about a $12 per month increase, and the following year after that will be a $13 per month increase in fiscal year 26. Next slide, please. Now, we recognize that these costs are not trivial to many households, but we'd also like to highlight that SFPUC rates are still a good value when you consider the benefit you receive at the price you pay, especially when you look at the alternatives. Many of us, myself included, will purchase bottled water without too much consideration. But when you look at the comparative cost of store-bought water to our tap water, you get a sense of just how good of a deal our water really is. Next slide, please. And then this slide is designed to show how our bills compare to those of other peer agencies. You can see that the bills our customers pay are very much in line with those paid by customers served by other utilities in the state. And similar to the other slide, the blue bars reflect the water portion and the green bars reflect the sewer portion of the bill. The two darker sets of bars reflect the bills paid by SFPUC customers. The one on the right is the current bill under our baseline rates, so that doesn't account for the drought surcharge. And the one on the left is the average bill under the new proposed rates for fiscal year 24. You can see that our projected bills are still in line with those of other agencies, even at their current fiscal year 23 rates. And it's worth noting that most, if not all of these agencies will also be increasing their rates in the next year as well. We just don't know by how much, and we didn't want to guess. Next slide, please. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to John Cote, our resident quizmaster, for the next quiz break.
Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate it. So you'll see a little question and answer box pop up on your screen now, and we're doing a little bit of a different quiz on this one. You'll see two photos there before you. Both of these are photos of construction in Mountain Tunnel. And now Mountain Tunnel is a crucial tunnel that carries water from Hetch Hetchy Reservoir. And the photo on the left is circa 1918. The one on the right is present day. So this is a true or false question. A drop of a drop of water from Hetch Hetchy Reservoir can travel to Sunset Reservoir here in the city using only the power of gravity. Is that true or false? And I'll give you a few minutes to respond while folks are thinking about it. I just wanted to note that Mountain Tunnel is the largest water infrastructure project that we have ongoing right now and it's the largest since the new Calaveras Dam. And the majority of these proposed rate increases, would go towards important projects like these. Now, with that, I think folks have probably had enough time. Can we see the results, please? Yes, an overwhelming number of correct responses. That it absolutely is true. A drop of water can travel from Hetch Hetchy all the way here to Sunset Reservoir in the city using only gravity. It takes a little while, but it's crossing 167 miles, and it would take about 4 days for water to make that trip. So thank you everybody for participating in our latest quiz. We can go ahead and close the results. And then next slide, please. So, as Matt noted, we really recognize that a rate increase can be difficult for some of our customers. And we want to emphasize that we're cognizant of that, and we're taking steps to address it. So we have a number of resources that are available for you right now. One is an online bill calculator. You can go onto our website. It's sfpuc.org/2023 rates, and you will find a bill calculator that allows you to input information about your specific property or home, and then get back a customized estimate of how this rate proposal would affect you. Additionally, we offer a number of programs where you can save money on your bills. So community members with low incomes can go on our website, same spot, and apply for our customer assistance program. This program provides an automatic 25% discount on water and sewer bills for low-income customers. It's applying is simple and easy. Again, it's on our website, sfpuc.org/2023 rates. You can apply. The application is in 8 different languages, and it only takes a few minutes to complete. We're also in the process of expanding that program to extend even more help to those who need it most. Additionally, we have a wide variety of other programs to help you save money, use water more efficiently, and better manage stormwater. So among those is we offer WaterWise evaluations. This is where one of our experts will come out to your home free of charge, look at your property, identify if there are areas where there are leaks or other inefficiencies in water use, and provide a customized approach to address those and therefore lower your bill. We also offer things like free toilet replacement, and for low flow toilets. We offer free water efficient fixtures like shower heads that will also help you conserve water. We offer up to $100 rebates for washing machines, etc. We also have grants for installing green infrastructure to help manage stormwater, as Matthew had mentioned earlier. We also offer grants for on-site water reuse projects and grants for floodwater management. You can find all these bill-saving programs on our website. You can either go, they're prominently featured on the rates page I just mentioned, sfpuc.org/2023 rates. You can also find them at sfpuc.org/savings. Next slide, please. As part of this rates proposal, we're conducting extensive public outreach that really is inclusive and multilingual in its focus. A formal notice has been sent to all account holders about the proposed rates. We're doing direct outreach to 30 different organizations across the city. We're holding these virtual town halls. Thank you for attending this first one. We have 2 more that are coming up this month. We also have that website that I mentioned, sfpuc.org/2023 rates, which has that bill calculator, those money saving options. We also have a dedicated email address for customer inquiries about this, and that is ratesinfo@sfwater.org. Of course, we're doing extensive social media posts about this proposal, as well as digital advertisements in 4 different languages. We also have bill inserts, messages up on the My Account portal for those folks who pay their bills online. We're sending out email blasts and doing a really robust approach to getting the word out. Next slide, please. Here you'll see some of the public meetings that are part of this rates proposal. You'll see, as Matt mentioned, we had 3 different meetings at the Rate Fairness Board on this. We have another one coming up next week on the 11th. We have these virtual town halls. Obviously, the first one is today. We have 2 more coming up, as I mentioned. And then this proposal would go to our commission for a hearing on May 23rd, and that's at 1:30 p.m. And if the commission approves the rates would take effect July 1st. Next slide, please. And with that, again, just reiterating the website where you can get additional info, the email where you can also send questions, as well as our phone number. And with that, we'll open it up to questions that folks may have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much, everybody, for all of your great questions that you've been submitting in. I'm going to try to paraphrase them so that we can get to as many of them as possible today. The first one is really about the mechanics of how you're calculating the wastewater rate. Some people are asking, how do you determine lot size and parcel size? They're asking, why are you not using roof? Why are you using parcels and services? Matt, can you shed a little bit of light on that?
Yeah, and actually I saw some of those questions coming in as I was presenting. I tried to adjust some of our messaging just to capture some of those questions. But yeah, we are for residential customers only. So only customers at that simplified residential rate. We're using the tiered rate structure based on the gross parcel area. And the rates that we're charging are based on the average amount of permeable and impermeable area for parcels that exist within that tier band. We're doing this for a couple of reasons. First, it's hard to get accurate. It's hard to get accurate information for small parcels like this. Also, administratively, it would be a huge cost for us and it would result in a higher rate burden if we had to go through and calculate each individual residential bill and do a custom bill for each customer. There's also just a lot of concern about like whether or not someone's patio is permeable or impermeable or not. So we are simplifying the way we implement the residential rate by using this fixed tiered structure. Now, I also saw that there were questions from people about, well, what if you've already put in a rain garden? Well, your property will certainly qualify for a stormwater credit, and that's something that when in the next couple months, our stormwater credit page will go live, and customers that have already done these kind of projects can apply for a credit on their stormwater bill. Let me know if I miss anything.
No, I thought that was great. Thank you. In the few minutes that we have left, I did want to touch upon one comment about how we completely understand that some folks out there are having trouble making ends meet. And what they asked was, why do you not charge other well-financed individuals and big corporations more to offset helping other people's rates?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's something that that we get a lot, and there are places in the country that actually do that. You can, in other states, you have the ability to set rates based on a policy objective. However, in California, we have Proposition 218, which is an amendment to our Constitution, came on the heels of Proposition 13. Proposition 218 establishes a cost of service requirement when we establish rates, meaning that we cannot charge any one customer more than the cost of providing service to them. So that on its face explicitly prohibits us from setting rates that would subsidize one customer group over another. That's a big reason why we're doing the stormwater charge as well, because while previously we didn't have the data or the processes to establish this, we are looking to increase the equity and enhance our compliance with the state constitution by establishing the stormwater charge.
Thank you. Here's another question about, and I'm going to read it verbatim this time. In times of drought, we pay a drought surcharge to help pay for the revenue lost for water conservation. During times, will we also be paying the stormwater charge when there is no stormwater? It's an excellent question.
A really good question. The stormwater charge is there to capture the cost of operating and maintaining all the stormwater infrastructure. So whether or not it's raining or not that particular year, we still need to build the infrastructure to ready our system for when large rain events come. But we still need to maintain that infrastructure year over year, whether or not it's raining or not. A lot of the costs of implementing the stormwater infrastructure are fixed costs that don't really vary depending on the charge itself. The way we have structured our rate is that when we design our systems, we design them for these large rain events. So we've apportioned out the cost to customers based on how much they would produce in these large rain events.
Thank you. Is there any formal body beyond, outside or in San Francisco that represents specifically the interest of ratepayers before the commission in this process?
Yeah, there's a Rate Fairness Board, which is made up of various representatives from the general public and different customer groups. I'm sure I'm not fully describing it well, but this is a public body that represents the interest of ratepayers. Their explicit goal is to review every step of our analysis, provide feedback, and make sure that ratepayers are getting fair rates, as the name of the board suggests. John, I don't know if there's other groups that you can think of. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's the as you noted, Matt, that's the primary function of that body, and I think they're really the main one, tasked with ensuring that our proposed rates are fair.
And we have 3 minutes left, and I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. If we don't get to your question, and some of you have some very specific questions about your own parcels, we encourage you to please reach out to this at this email on the screen, and we will get back to you, we promise. I'm going to ask one more question about, we've had a few questions about whether or not we plan to capture and use stormwater for future use and as a resource.
Yeah. Actually, the water enterprise is going to start using groundwater that we pump from groundwater wells within the city as an emergency water supply. So by capturing more runoff, we'll certainly be contributing stormwater to our aquifers. That'll certainly enhance the local water supply. This is something that this water has been used in the past for irrigation purposes by the city, but we now have recycled water that's going to be coming online that will replace that groundwater. It'll serve as an emergency potable water supply that will be blended with all the other water.
Thank you. We have a question about customer assistance programs, and someone says, I'm already receiving assistance. Do I need to reapply for this new rate cycle? What direction do you provide?
John, do you have a good answer for this one? I might actually ask Erin to step in because she's been heavily involved with the customer assistance program development.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erin Korbanova. I'm the financial planning director. Customers who are already receiving discounted bills under our customer assistance program do not need to reapply at this time. Anyone enrolled will stay enrolled. You may receive contacts from us asking for information to verify your income if you're in the program, but unless you get outreach from us, no need to take action.
Great. I think that's about it as far as questions. I thank you all for submitting them. I think hopefully we've touched on most of them, at least tangentially. If we have not, again, please reach out to us here on the screen. I know some of you have questions about the bill calculator, have questions about some of the information on our website. We really encourage you to please reach out to us. Any questions at all, that's why we're here. I want to thank everybody for attending today. I want to thank our panelists, Matthew and John, and Patty, our wonderful interpreters, Raymond, Agnes, and Arturo. And I want to also thank everyone behind the scenes here, Erin and Angela and Kristen and everybody else. I wish you a wonderful day. And thank you again for being here with us. And we hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.